What up, folks? What it do? Welcome to another episode of the Best Advice Ever podcast with your boy, Mike Goodwin, the bow-tied comedian that's actually wearing a bow tie today. We just had to stop in earlier at WIS, which is the NBC affiliate here in Columbia, South Carolina. So I'm rocking the on stage get up. Now, let's get it popping. So today's best advice ever, man, this is one I kind of grappled and struggled and was tossing and turning trying to figure this one out. And this is a basic one, which I kind of took for granted. And people have mentioned this a time or two, especially if this is your first time having the experience, and you'll understand once I share it. So the best advice ever is if you're traveling and you see a little beaver with a red cap on a sign, stop. Yeah. Whatever exit that is, stop at Buc-ee's. Yes, sir. Now, if you are not aware of what Buc-ee's is, it is a superstore / gas station / car wash. I've never seen the car washes before. I saw a car wash this most recent trip. So stop at Buc-ee's. That's the best advice ever. Number one, stop at Buc-ee's because they have clean bathrooms, incredibly clean bathrooms. Number two, you stop at Buc-ee's, you can get you some gas. If you're traveling, you're driving long distance, probably need to stop and get some petroleum, some gas, right? And thirdly, get yourself something to eat, something to snack upon. Because if you go inside of Buc-ee's, it's pretty unrealistic to not be able to find something to snack on. Man, Buc-ee's took me out of my I was on track. Buc-ee's took me off because I always get those chocolate covered cashews. They used to have pecans or pecans. I don't know how you pronunciate it. Pecans or pecans. I say pecans. Used to have the chocolate covered pecans, but I don't think they have them anymore. So I get the cashews. They got almonds. I don't really be getting down with the almonds like that. But man, I think my wife, she got some pecans, but it wasn't with chocolate. She might have just had the roasted pecans. My son got a big old chicken and fries box. Just maybe a 3-piece. I don't know, man. And I'll talk about this in a little bit, but I am starting to be, I don't know if envious is the correct word of my son, because I see how the boy eats. And I remember the days where I could eat like that, but I can't eat like that no more. That boy eats, man. And my son hadn't always ate like that. My son has been very fastidious in his food selection. He's been very mercurial. He's been very particular about the foods that he eats. Very, very strange. Matter of fact, we stopped at a spot in Nashville. So for a very long time, my son used to just get grilled cheese. It didn't matter. We stopped at a burger spot, grilled cheese, Zaxby's, grilled cheese, Chinese restaurant, grilled cheese, please. So I just went to a place called Torchy's Tacos. I don't know if y'all familiar with Torchy's, but outstanding tacos. This boy got a salad. Man, if you don't get your salad eaten, not croissant, what do you call those things? Crouton eating, cheese and tomato and cucumber munching face out of here, man. Dude went to a taco spot and got a salad, bro. I gotta teach my son a lot. There's a lot in a little bit of time, man. I got 2 years. And I got to get a lot of stuff in. We behind the curve, man. This boy at the taco spot eating salad, bro. Come on. But the way this boy is devouring these plates of food is very impressive. It reminds me of a young Mike Goodwin. Very, very impressive. When you're that age, I remember my relatives, people said, like, all your weight go to your feet. That's one of the things they tell little boys. All your weight go to your feet. Enjoy it, because one day you're not going to be able to do this. They right. That day has come. So that boy got him a whole chicken box, right? But stop at Buc-ee's, man. Even if you, because number one, my most favorite activity is to people watch. Man, oh man, the people are at Buc-ee's. And everything's in Buc-ee's. They got food, they got drinks, they got candy, they got snacks, they got pastries, they have camouflage, they have home goods. Buc-ee has it all, man. So that's the best advice ever today. Something simple, something light. Stop at Buc-ee's, man. Get you a t-shirt with a little Bucky on it. Shout out to Buc-ee's, man. They doing the thing. Now, on the road. I was not on the road this week for a comedy show. I was on the road for family weekend in Nashville. We were at Vanderbilt University. You got to say it like that with some prestige in your voice. Vanderbilt University. That's kind of school my daughter attends, and I've known that Vanderbilt was a world-class institution, top flight organization, but just to be there for those 3 days. Yeah, we got in Thursday night, very late. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday on campus. Let me give y'all my insights. First off, I have the schedule of events packed full. So much where you couldn't even attend everything. There was a lot of overlap. So they had check-in. It started at 8:30. 8:30 on Friday morning. Nah, we didn't do that. We didn't do that. First session was an open house. The Wondery open house. We didn't attend that. We did not attend that at all. They had career champions, how parents can support student success. Didn't make that. That was at 10:30. Did not make that. But what we did go to, we should have went to career champions. But we went to Vandy United. What's new? What's next? Athletics tour. So we went and we saw the new stadium. Well, it's not a new stadium. They've added on some box seating, suites, little restaurant, little bar. They've added some more seating, made it more of a luxurious type experience, made it more of a Division I, because I think Vanderbilt was not highly regarded in terms of their football facilities, was not highly regarded. Now, pretty outstanding. Their NBA, their basketball gym, they were communicating. Some of the NBA guys come back and like, hey man, our stuff here at Vanderbilt is better than some of the NBA teams. So we were over there where the women's and men's basketball facility was very new, fresh out the box, new car smell all over the gym, and it's pretty tremendous. Didn't take any pictures because that's none of my business. You know, I am Team Commodore, but I'm not 2 feet in. I'm in. I'm still walking in the door. Like I'm here. I'm happy to be here. I want to be here. But hey, man, I'm married, and I don't know if I should be over here in this relationship. But I'm a married man, and I love my wife. But that's a bad analogy right there. It's a bad analogy. It worked when I was saying that I have a team, but it didn't work because I'm gonna keep the side teams, which I don't do that in my personal life. So I'm on board over there at Vanderbilt, but I didn't do all the things. So they showed us the athletic facilities, world class, top notch, very impressive. From there, we went to the session again. There were a number of other sessions. They had a resource fair. They had a study abroad information session. The next session we attended was called "Supporting Your Big Fish in our big pond. Very good session. They had about 5 student panelists. One student was a grad student, but the other were 4 undergraduates. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, and they had a student that was multiple genders. I think you're transgendered. I think that's the appropriate term. And they were asking questions that were about the student experience, and the panel was phenomenal. Great questions, great answers. They were able to take questions from the audience, parents. Standing was very glad I took the time to check out that session. We went from there. There was a Vanderbilt business open house, which we did not attend. Then the Black Cultural Center had an open house. We attended that later. Nope, I think we did go there. We went there. No. I take that back. We went to the Commodore Classroom, the College Core Common Intellectual Experience for all Vanderbilt students. So they have this core that all students are involved with, and they gave us an example of what a class looks like. So they read a passage and they discussed it. I think they were talking about a passage from Plato, and it was a great discussion, very interactive. At some point, they allowed the audience, parents, to get involved. A few folks chimed in and had some additional insights. Very good session. Then from there, we ended up going to the Black Cultural Center because they had an arboretum tour, a historical tour, the Vanderbilt Museum of Art curators tour. They had the Center for Student Wellbeing and open house and smoothie. We didn't do any of that. We were attempting to go see one of the professors, Arthur Brooks. He was talking about his book. We caught his tail end of his session, and then we caught the university update where we heard from the chancellor and some other key members of the university administration. One of the ways that I know that Vanderbilt has a very strong emphasis and commitment to leadership, they've had 9 chancellors in 150 years. Jeez, that's pretty impressive. I remember when I was in college, we had a college president who was asleep at the wheel for 2 years. So the fact that they could have 9 people to span the time of 150 years is pretty remarkable, because we had that president. Then there was a president after our president. We had like 3 presidents probably since my senior year. I don't remember when Dr. Moran left, but the president we currently have, we probably will be having him for a while. So shout out to Vanderbilt for the continuity of leadership. 9 chancellors in 150 years. Then they had like a step show that the MPHC put on. They had all the groups represented there except for the Qs. There were no Qs. I'm not certain. I think it would be a little challenging for some Qs to academically stay. Oh no, nothing but love for the brothers of Omega Psi-Phi. There's none at Vanderbilt. And numbers of the fraternities were very different than numbers of sororities. Sororities really, really big, very big, especially from what the people that were stepping. They had like a yard show where they did a little bit of step, a little bit of stroll, and they gave us some information of their chapter and their organization. So I just to guesstimate, the Deltas and the AKs probably had about 12 to 15 young ladies out there. And then the other groups, I think the Alphas had the most in terms of fraternity. They probably had about 8 guys that performed. Then they had some guys in the audience. The Kappas, they had 3 guys, and they were all present and accounted for in the presentation. The Sigmas had 2 guys, and might have been 1 or 2 in the crowd. The Zetas had 2, if I'm not mistaken, and the Sigma Gamma Rhos had 2. Like I said, there was no Qs, no iotas, but it was a nice little show. Very nice. The Greeks were very kind to one another. Very, very congenial atmosphere, but much different than many of the campuses I've been a part of. And so that was that night. And then the Black Culture Center did have some another little cookout. Now there was something called the Fall for the Arts. We didn't make it over there. By the time we left the step show or the yard show, we called it a wrap. They did have the volleyball game going on that night. Then there was an orchestra performance. Then the next day was the football game. For the most part, we ended up having Gabrielle meet us where we were staying because we were not coming to campus for a while. So she came to us. We went to brunch. Then we watched the Clemson Tigers play. We watched the Clemson Tigers play the Syracuse Orangemen. Is it the Orangemen? In Death Valley. That was quite the show, quite the game. Then we made our way over to campus, and then on campus went to the bookstore, bought some swag, some paraphernalia, as one would call it. Vanderbilt has a great options. One of the things I like about colleges is their swag. I like college memorabilia. I like college jerseys, t-shirts, all those type things. But the colleges I attend, I think University of South Carolina has a nice variety. There's something I would love to, if anybody could tell me where to find the women's basketball hoodie that says WBB versus everybody. I would love to get that. But for the most part, I have a lot of nice South Carolina Gamecock gear. I have a lot of gear from other schools because when I worked at Heathwood Hall, I would travel, visit different campuses. Different campuses would come to Heathwood, and they would leave, T-shirts with me, hats, those types of things, pennants. I'm a big fan of pennants. As a matter of fact, I have a pennant of my fraternity over there. But Lander University, where I went to undergraduate, they've not done well with the paraphernalia. First off, we used to be the Senators. Used to be the Lander Senators, and that mascot was an old dude, man. It was like a old, unathletic white senator dude, right? Like, I don't know why that ever was the selected choice for a athletic mascot. The Senators. Now, Senators just in general, I don't think that's a bad mascot, especially if you had a real athletically looking senator. But our senator didn't look athletic. Our senator was on a cane. You're not very intimidating with the elderly as your athletic mascot. So then that changed some years after I had graduated because we were the Senators. And then I was hoping that we would become the Lynx, which is now the Minnesota Lynx. There were a number of options that were on the table. I know the Lander Lynx was one of them. Now, that does sound a little like a WNBA team because it is a WNBA team, but at the time there was no WNBA team around. So the Lander Lynx, I thought that had a nice little elegant ring to it, but they didn't go that direction. They went Bearcats. So we go from the Senator to the Bearcat. Now, which I don't know what a Bearcat is. I know what a bear is, and I know what a cat is. I do not know what a Bearcat is. I didn't even know that bears and cats were having children. So now with this, it looks like a roly poly. It looks like Sonic the Hedgehog all rolled, and that's the Land of Bear Cats. So there's not a lot of swag, man. Like I would love to have just like a athletic jersey that just had LU on it or Lander across it. Very simple, simplistic design, but they don't. Our bookstore, it leaves a lot left to be desired. Vanderbilt, man, there was things like Vandy. I love the Vandy t-shirts. I like the athletic gear with the V with the star. I love the old school star. So they had the black polo with just the dark V, black and gold. Shout out to Camden High School. There's some other people that wear black and gold, but I wore black and gold back at Camden High. So I'm not mad at the black and gold, but I did end up getting some swag. You might see me in my Vanderbilt hat. They got a little hat, little cap. So they had a great assortment. Maybe a little too much, too many options. They had the Vanderbilt Commodores. You know, I would love to get one with just like the Commodore logo. Anchors down. Anchor down, not anchors. I don't know why I keep trying to plural. I'm trying to make it plural. It's anchor down. And, so that's what we did. We stopped at the bookstore. Then we went to that football game. Oh, went to the tailgate. Went to the tailgate before the football game. Let me say this: food at Vanderbilt, 10 out of 10. They don't miss. We had food. We had food that Friday night at the BCC, which is the Black Cultural Center. Outstanding. It was like barbecue. Had some ribs. It was 2 thumbs up, right? Then the next day, the cookout. They had fried chicken out there, baby. Woo! The chicken was good. They had fried chicken. I can't even remember what else they had because that fried chicken was outstanding. I think they had some salad. What else did they have at that lunch? But the lunch was good. They had a great lunch. Then the next morning they had a breakfast. I had a hash brown casserole. Oh my goodness, bacon. Yes, indeedy. They had fruit. Something else I'm forgetting, but it was, man, the food was on point. Shout out to the food. So we had the game that night. They played Georgia State. It's a very different experience, right? Very different experience. It's the SEC experience, big time. But the big highlight, this is how I knew my daughter go to a smart school. These are very, very intellectual individuals. They had a drone show at halftime of the football game, bro. And it was cool for a drone show. A drone show at a football game, and people were ranting and raving about the drone show. Now there was a whole band on the field playing. Nobody care about that band. They like that drone. They like them drones though. So they waxed Georgia State, man. I ended up saying, "Hey, let's get out of here." I left like third quarter. I couldn't take it, man. Then this is probably another episode for another day, but I can't stand going to games. I'm talking about. I got a buddy of mine. He listens to the podcast. He was trying to get me to go to game with him and another friend of ours. Who my other friend's not even a fan of my team, so I'm not going to the game with you. For you to send me slide comments, so it just I don't know, man. I like to watch the game in the privacy of my home. Matter of fact, the experience of Vanderbilt, because I wanted to go to the game. I mean, I wasn't opposed to going to the game, but when I was in there, I was like, yeah, I could have did this at the house. There was a rain delay. We stood outside for a good few 30 minutes plus, right? Because you got to wait for the lightning to pass. But then there was a woman that was working the gate, man. Some people just don't need authority, man. That lady was out there yelling like she owned Vanderbilt University. Gates are closed. Go back to your cars. Nobody was going back to their car. And I'm talking about she screaming at the top of her head. The gates are closed, not letting anybody in. Go back to your cars. Everybody dispersing. Like, lady, you're going to have a heart attack. You better bring it down. So we sat out there during the rain delay. Man, people like to talk, bro. I've not noticed how much I don't like talking or hearing people talk until I'm around people that's talking. And I talk for a living. But when I'm on stage, man, I don't be doing all that. I do not be doing all of that. So the football game was great, man. It was just different. It's just very different vibes. Very happy football. Very happy football. I give you this one insight. The difference of a South Carolina game and Vanderbilt game. Very, very happy. Very happy. So they were playing Georgia State. And let's say at the instant, and I may be wrong. Let's say that at the half it was 42-9. Let's say that might be wrong. 42-9. Those guys come back out after halftime, and they still got their starters in the game, man. At Williams-Brice Stadium, somebody would have called Shane Beamer an idiot if he didn't take Lenore Sellers out of the game. And I sat through a whole football game. I heard nobody call anybody an idiot. Like at a South Carolina football game, they calling the coach an idiot. They calling the refs an idiot. They calling each other idiot. Like it could go down at any moment. Not at Vanderbilt, very polite, very kind group of watchers, fans of an organization. But I'm on board. Like I said, the next morning we had that breakfast. That breakfast was good, and we ended up getting some more swag to take to the crib, and then we brought it home, man. It was a great trip. Love seeing my daughter. My wife cried when it was time to leave. I was big dog this time. I cried when we dropped off, but this time I was ready. This time I was like, all right, man, so good to see you. And I was a little bit displeased because my daughter had community service on Friday when we got there, and then she had a course. Hopefully, when we figure something out, like if I come back family weekend next year, that she will have taken that day off and she can guide us and tell us where to get and how to get there. Vanderbilt gave us a nice handy dandy the map, which for the most part I figured out where we were going, but it would have been nice to have a student leader at least assigned to groups of us. So that's what my student should have been doing, but she had some things to take care of. Then she had a class at 1, so she ended up spending the rest of the time with us. So when I come back, I need my daughter to be our personal guide. That'd be very helpful to us. And I don't think she has a good lay of the land because, like I said, we went to Torchy's, but she was supposed to be the one saying, hey, let's go to this restaurant. This would be very good. Like she's already had experiences in the city and people telling her what places to go. I felt like she should have been a little bit more savvy. She could have got a little bit more out of us. If she would have been like, oh, I got these 2-3 restaurants we need to go to before the end of the weekend, I would have been like, all right, let's do it. Let's get it done. But she squandered that opportunity. Well, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. But before I wrap this up, I have some very unfortunate news to share with you. Fortunately, this will be one of the last episodes of the Best Advice Ever podcast. Yes, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to share this information with you, but it's where we are. Probably will do one more episode to close out the month. And then there may be a little hiatus, and I'm coming back retooled with a new podcast, right? I'm not done with podcasts. I'm just going to put a pause on the Best Advice Ever. And then I will be bringing forth the new. And this is a podcast where I will talk about the importance of humor in the workplace, important humor in your presentations. I just want you to have some more value as it relates to presenting and being engaging and then entertaining on stage. So I'll be launching my next podcast endeavor. We have a tentative name, but not quite ready to put it out there. But we're definitely going to be continuing the podcast game. It just won't be under the Best Advice Ever. It's been a good little 2-year run. And thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'll have some more information for you next week. But I'll be back next week. And same bat planet, same bat channel, same bat place. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. And I appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Peace.